The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence.
A regular season has come to a conclusion, and now we set ourselves on the playoffs. Rather than concluding the playoffs at Daytona, which the real world does, we're going to start it there at a lottery track, at a wild card track. Will we end up with a 3-wide photo finish, or will we have cars upside down on their lid? Well, we got 85 laps to sort out those answers, and we're happy to have you for the ride. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's coverage. The Triple Bypass Racing League, their playoffs here at Daytona. It is the On Edge 85. Gonna be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth and in the production truck, and of course my partner here with the channel, Mr. Brad Dalton, to help me out with the call. So Brad, a very, very dangerous way to start off a playoffs. You have drivers wanting to cement themselves into their playoff future, and the most interesting way to do it here, 2-3 wide drafting track.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on if you're watching this live or if you are, of course, a driver watching this replay, or you're just reminiscing later. Yeah, this is going to be a very, very interesting one to watch. I think it's appropriate that this is called the On Edge 85, because I'm going to be on the edge of my seat for about 86 of these 85 laps here. 11 drivers trying to race their way forward, and I'm very, very nervous, but excited to see how Daytona treats them. This is going to be a fun one. We'll see who puts their toes in the sand and who puts their fist through someone's face at the end of this evening. I think either way, it's going to be a good time.
Well, you said toes in the sand. Wasn't that Zach Brown? So I got my toes in the water, and
Yep.
I don't know if someone might have their butt in the sand here, but that sand is in the infield on Lake Lloyd, and if you're down there, you done messed up and made a wrong turn there. But that is the end of qualifying. Yeah, we kind of enter these triple bypass broadcasts hot and heavy, so we'll get ourselves going shortly. But want to thank everyone for tuning in here to PTR TV. If it's your first time, don't make it your last. Hit the like and subscribe button. We're very close to 1,800 subscribers, and with a little bit further help from you, we could certainly push ourselves over that next threshold. But let's go down trackside, give you that starting lineup here from the World Center of Racing. Starting today's race off from the front row is going to be Jared Jackson, who's actually our race sponsor here today. Starting today off from the pole position with Keaton Carruthers, 2 playoff drivers in the first row. Brad Kress, another playoff driver, in third. Jason Benson in fourth. We got Ty Bass in fifth. Steve McClendon in sixth, try to get another championship. Mark Herzog in seventh. Matt Robinson in eighth. And then rounding out our top 10, Mr. Timothy O'Connor, and then Sean Bradley.
Moving up from there, P11, Jeremy Brown and Ward Fisher in that blank red Camaro starts P12. We got to get him a sponsorship. Angel Resendez in P13 and Jeff Slaughter in P14. From there we go P15, William Emert and Michael Hopkins in P16. P17 is going to find ourselves Elton Woo and Dylan Freeman in P18. P19 is going to be the league sponsor here. Or no, it's Derek Catt with P20 being Nathan Smith here. P 21. Over to you, Corey.
With that as the league sponsor in the name of Mr. Tex Nichols, and then we got Matt Harmon in the 22nd spot, playoff driver. Ben Harcum back there in 23rd in the Hornets' nest. We'll have to watch out. Josh Corder in 24th. 25th finds Dan Williams. Anthony Suarez, no relation to Daniel, in 26th. We got Dominic Zanobi in 27th. Kyle Dewey doing it from 28th. And then just rounding out our last couple, we got Cameron Kane, Michael Seymour, Nicholas Deal, Al Corey, the boss man. And on the final row, Dominic Risto. Gary Wright, at the time of this recording, has not placed his car onto the racetrack. But again, we do want to. I just want to give put our special graphic up here, Brad. Give the guy his moment in the sun. And I think this may be the third time this season, but Jared Jackson sponsoring today's race, the On Edge 85, with that Action Academy Lexus, as it may be.
I think it actually is the third time On Edge has sponsored or Action Academy. So yeah, pretty awesome of Jared Jackson. I always forget that we have that extra little moment there. We get in the rhythm of things, and I'm so excited to get this race going here. I'm excited to really see how Daytona treats the guys. It's been a great season so far here with Season 8. We are going to be bringing Season 9 forward as well, so a little bit of a early announcement for those who are watching, but you'll get us for another season here with Triple Bypass and PTR TV kicking off. We're not going to say the dates yet. We're not going to say this calendar yet, but I'm excited.
Yeah, that will be for social media to dictate that information, but proud to be back here and actually potentially expanding coverage here on some of their subsidiary leagues, so that will be something fun to watch out for. But our race details here, as such, 85 laps, which is mathematics times 2.5. Math, I don't know, 180 miles. I'll leave you for the calculator on that. Our stage is at lap number 30. We got 3 sets of Goodyears, 1 backup car that will probably come in handy. Our fixed sets, our fuel load, and I did get a little privy to some information. Our keys to the race, our fuel run will be about 32 laps. Potentially you could hypermile that a little bit further, depending on your skill. Watch those temps on the drafting and the tandem pushing. And again, it's the playoffs, it's Daytona, risk reward. How difficult do you want to put your car in a spot? Do you want to hang at the back? Do you want to risk going for it?
212 and a half miles coming at you here as the pace car is getting ready to peel off here, Corey. Predictions all over the place for how this race goes, but intense is what this is going to be. Into the Geico restart zone here, and it looks like green flag is out. We're going to be underway here for round 1 of playoff racing.
Yes, indeed the case here. We got 33 cars strong starting off here from the World Center of Racing, and they're going to go 2 by 2. Of course, these cars did undergo, Brad, a drafting update in the last build, and this is the first time we've really done a drafting track since then. So from what I understand, these things will kind of do that side-by-side locking action. Really difficult to get momentum built up, but we'll see who can do the best job of it.
I definitely think everyone's going to do a pretty good job here early on of just settling in and kind of enjoying their race. I think that's going to be the big key here early on is, remember the fact that you win this on lap 85. There's playoff contenders in the mix as well. I wouldn't anticipate anyone trying anything too crazy too early, but then again, sometimes drivers, they just look and they say, there's enough room for me to make that one little moment and then go. But, these super speedway tracks here at Triple Bypass historically have been very good tracks to the league and to the drivers, and everyone tends to settle in and really run that race long. So,
oh my goodness. We got, you'd think it was a Taylor Swift album from about 2009. Sparks flying here. And someone deciding to pull down to the bottom. I think that's Dylan Freeman, who's all the way down in the grass there. But yeah, certainly a spark show. It is custom setups, so obviously low air pressures or just lower ride heights than usual. But yeah, certainly a spectacle.
Yeah, and that's, one of those things with the setups that probably when they set in the draft, it's going to be something to sort of just watch as the tire pressures are coming up. I would say that we'll see that go away here pretty soon, if I had to guess, as we ride on board here with Keaton Crothers, the 809 as he comes through. And he has Benson there behind, just, again, sort of just these races at Daytona. It's going to be a lot of this. There's a lot of time here, Corey, where they're going to follow through with each other, and then at some point, somebody's going to just cause all chaos to break loose. The matter is just who win.
A car was there, and then a car not be there. Not sure who it was, the blinker, but this is, Brad, I mean, let's just be blunt and real. It's not degrading anything. It's just, calling the facts of the matter is in the real world, everyone knows the next-gen car isn't the best plate racing car. It is super draggy, so when you pull out a line, it's basically like, putting a brick in the wind. But it also kind of is topped out on its speed, on its all-out speed. So it kind of does this 2x2 locking situation. iRacing did a major physics update in the last build that has much more closely emulated that, as the 333 Angel Resendez having some problems with connection there. But iRacing's kind of nailed the next-gen car with how it races at the plate tracks. Whether that's a positive or a negative, I guess, depends where you stand on the realism spectrum.
Yeah, and it's one of those that I like it. I like it when things are realistic, but when realism isn't the best, it makes you question things, right? So, I mean, if I liked the way these cars raced at super speedways in general, I probably wouldn't be too upset about it. Because I'd be like, hey, realism, yay. That's how I am with flight simulators. I play DCS for the realism. That's how I am with, Le Mans Ultimate when I run it. I like the way it does really well, in my opinion,
Whoa,
for the
cat.
GTP. Oh, cat, meow, ouch. What was that?
Yeah. I mean, you'd think for a cat, you'd have a Gary the Snail Paint scheme, but let's see what happened. I think the SpongeBob car dead center in the shot there. Let's see what's going on at the top. McClendon pushing Benson, he just pulled to the bottom, but he did it very abruptly, at least from that camera shot we had.
I have to imagine if he did that on purpose, that was just he wanted away from whoever he's around. He just wanted to fall to the back for a little bit and just get out of the middle of the pack, which, again, sometimes early on you'll see guys do that. They just kind of make that decision, say, you know what? Here early on, I'm just going to be done and pull through. Not a bad decision depending on how you feel. If your goal is to survive to the end, then I think it's a pretty good decision, honestly.
Exactly that here is times coming through here. Now, we started the race pretty quickly here. We're trying to make sure we get all of it in at a reasonable time, just in case cautions do come out later on. But our point standings, of course, this is the first race of the playoffs. So the reset, you can see only 4 points separating the 11 drivers that are in the playoffs here. So basically everyone is a break even. 4 points really isn't too much. So a pretty big reset there, of course, on the ticker, as you may have already found out. Everyone in the playoffs is denoted with the yellow highlight, and there is a P next to the name. That more shows up for the drivers in the sim, allows them to... drivers can easily see on their timing screens and whatnot who's in the playoffs. Because there is always that, contingency, Brad. When you're a driver who's not in the playoffs, you have every entitlement to race as hard as you can, but you don't want to be, quote-unquote, that guy who kind of ruins it or gets too in the way.
Someone's going to be that guy, though. Let's be honest. Those P's, there's a couple guys here in the field that are going to see that, and they're not going to care. They're going to just go, okay, cool, you've had a good season, yay, whatever. And that's a podcast topic when it comes to opinions on the playoff system, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, that's been pretty big in social media this week for those who follow it.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has. But, some of these guys are going to look around and they're going to kind of see it and they're going to go, okay, whatever. You have a P next to your name. I'm still going to race you. So be it.
Exactly that. So, again, as we brought up prior to the green flag, I'll bring it back up just for the sake of memory here on our race details. The stage is at lap 30. It's not 35, right? I did read that right. It is 30, so they should be able to, again, based on the numbers we've been told, they will be able to make it to the stage on fuel. 32 laps was a conservative estimate, so 30 laps obviously is less than 32. That would leave the remainder of the race with one pit stop to be had. And you can see here on this shot, we do have two separate packs. Dominic Zanobi, he is leading the second charge in the Pepsi car. I fancy Pepsi cars. I wish it was on a Chevy, because that's more fitting. I don't think I've ever seen Pepsi on a Toyota, but I'll let it slide. But he's leading that second charge. Michael Seymour, Nicholas Deal. And that is a strategy that, you know, was very much implored in the 90s, early 2000s. You'd have the Mark Martins, the Terry Labonis, the Bobby Labonis. They'd ride in the back and just await the wreck to happen, and then they'd take that track position and battle at the end. That's normally a good strategy if that's the intent. My only flaw with it is, as we look up here, Brad, there's not too much that scares me for a wreck right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is just really...
Oh, well, Astra, wow, right on cue. Could you have timed that any worse? That is commentator's curse to the utmost degree. I apologize for all involved. I wasn't even done with the sentence, I don't think. Anyways, our PTR TV replay here was on the back straightaway. It was with Tex. Let's take a gander. Tex with the bump to somebody. He went to the apron. Now, who was that car that followed him down there? 89 is that? I can't quite tell. 88? Oh, Slaughter, that is.
Yeah, that's Slaughter with his back to front.
So, yeah, there's Tex on board with Slaughter. Now, Tex went to the bottom, I think maybe to back off, and usually pretty good about finding a reason why something happened. It's like Slaughter decided to follow him down there instinctively and then realized maybe it wasn't a good idea.
But it was just too late, and he was kind of committed to the bit, so I don't really know. But I tell you what, I don't feel like we've had a single race this season where Tex hasn't had at least one caution.
You're not wrong.
That he's been involved in, and he's never the cause of it. He just gets wrapped up in it somehow. I tell you what, Tex, if you get a race with good luck, you are dangerous.
Yeah, we see that on other broadcasts we have, Brad, here on the channel, that some drivers, if luck wouldn't exist for them if it was not only in the bad form here, but where we are under caution, I don't expect any pit stops. This will be as good a time as any to go and wind it back to last week's race at the Bristol Motor Speedway with our race recap video and give you an idea of what happened as a summary of last week. So let's go. We'll be back with you at the conclusion of this segment.
July 20th, 2025, the Triple Bypass Nichols Oil Pros Series lit up Bristol Motor Speedway for 200 laps of short track chaos. The half-mile bull ring produced 6 leaders, 5 lead changes, and 13 cautions that slowed the field for 52 laps in a gritty, high-contact showdown. It was the last chance for drivers to qualify for the season championship playoffs, with only the top 11 getting a shot at a TVP trophy. The Corgi Airstrike 200 took over the race, with CAC ringleader Ryan Hyatt sponsoring the race. Like a fairy tale story, Hyatt, piloting car 7, came roaring from 22nd on the grid to take an unforgettable victory. He led 50 laps and finished 0.2 seconds ahead of the field. What an improbable drive. Right behind him was Mark Herzog in car 57, who also made a huge statement. Starting 9th, Herzog clawed his way up to the front. He didn't lead any laps, but was glued to the leader's bumper at the finish. Brad Kress, driving car 9, was in the mix all night. He started on the front row and led 35 laps along the way. His fastest time was a scorching 14.6 on lap 122, and he crossed the stripe in 3rd, just 0.6 seconds back of Herzog. Jared Jackson quietly brought home 4th with a steady effort, and Mike Weida rounded out the top 5 with a solid run from 13th on the grid. The Corgi Airstrike Corporation made this race at Bristol one for the league record books, and a big congratulations to Ryan Hyatt on the victory. We hope you enjoyed this Triple Bypass Nichols Oil Pro Series recap. We'll see you next time.
All right, back here after that recap segment of what happened at the Bristol Motor Speedway, and we are now on 1 to green. There were a couple pit stops well back in the field, but again, none of those pit stops will really mean anything because we are battling to a stage at lap 30, and everybody has ample fuel load to get to that point. So just those pit stops being, who was it? Basically 22nd on back. Everyone came in for splash of gas, maybe some damage repair for a couple drivers. See Daniel Williams. Brad, didn't you tell me Daniel Williams was only in here for a lap and then he was going to start and park? He's on vacation by now.
That's what he said he was going to do. He said his laptop was updating so that way he could come in, run some laps to get counted for being there, and then he was going to leave. Obviously, he lied to us, so I'm just going to note that one down. We also did warn the drivers we were going to roast them, so just know that he's now target number 1.
Yeah, well, we said we'd roast them when they race, like, not... Well, my exact quote was, I will roast them more than all the turkeys on Thanksgiving Day if they drive like they're playing Mario Kart with a D-pad. I haven't seen that extreme yet, so I'm still feeling in a generous mood, but that has plenty of time to change.
Give it time. I think if we give it time, the night will go and things will get interesting before the end of the day. We'll sit and wait and see what happens.
Well, I'd hope it gets interesting, and again, I expect a lot of patience here, as again, very early, still guaranteed caution to be had, and our race sponsor, Jared Jackson, has led every lap, and he'll try to continue that trend going. Ty Bass is going to be pushing him. Herzog going to be pushing the car on the outside lane, and that outside lane did not form at all, and that's going to give Jared Jackson a very easy lead, and that Great Clips car, I believe that's O'Connor. Pardon me, it's Brad Kress. He'll get to the inside. Now Herzog all by himself.
And as he comes through, going there to the high line alone, shouldn't be alone for long. Doesn't look like it there, as you see some cars start to pull out there. Brad Kress goes through, and well behind them, you can see the 51 there. McClendon was trying to decide low, high. Finally committed to the high line there. So you've got that group, that 5-pack there, including McClendon, including Jeremy Brown, and I believe Kyle Dewey is in there as well, as they are going to go through. And then McClendon dives down low, so single file except for 4 cars. That's an interesting one that you don't see a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and mind you, this is something you see the P. Usually it's at. Brad, we're gonna have to grow up and get over that. Normally that would say the name. Oh, shut up! You were doing it earlier. Usually it says the name is the P that was put next to the driver's names does kind of conflict with some of the overlays, but we're gonna fix. Work with admin for that next week. Again, it is important to them that the drivers have an easy indication of who's in the playoffs. So we'll sort that out. But that was McClendon that we were on board with. And you have Brad Kress, Brad Kress in the plate races that I've seen him in, he is one of the aggressors. He's not someone who wants to sit and just ride around. And this aero package is very frustrating for someone like Brad, because you know what you need to do. You know how the draft works. You know that you have guys behind you who want to make the draft work, but ultimately the car just doesn't do what you need it to do, which doesn't allow you to go anywhere.
Yeah, and that's always kind of the most interesting part of everything, I'll be honest, is that you know what needs to happen, you know what to do, and really what gets interesting for me is how do you overcome it. And unfortunately, in a situation like this, there's nothing you can do. You're just riding the wave at this point. You're riding on good feelings. You're running on just pure hope. You're hoping that Herzog behind doesn't absolutely send you to the shadow realm on the exit of 4 there with the bump drafts, and you're just really hanging on here and following it through as they complete another lap here. Hit lap 17. Down towards turn 1 they're going to go. Hold it on 2x2 and send it around for another lap here. Jared Jackson lead.
Jared Jackson lead. I think he's led every single lap. And remember, we still have it. I was going to say, do we have a fallback pack? And we still do. It's only 4 cars this time. Now, Tex is in there. Tex is 1 lap down and did use the faster pair. So It's good that it's there, but now you don't have that reprieve if something else happens, and I think something else almost happened mid-pack there in the realm of Derek Catt. A huge gap has formed behind him now. Well, we got the time, so let's just kind of gander around here, try to figure out what happened there. Stack the field up. Oh, 16 into Slaughter, and then that was more aggressive contact, and Catt just checked up and gave them their space.
Yeah, major space needs to be given sometimes whenever moments like that happen, because you just have to watch out, really, is all you can do. When you're in the back of the pack like that and things start to go off, if it's near the front, you have time to react, but typically it's not going to be near the very front where things get crazy. It's going to be kind of right behind that, more towards the mid-pack. So, I mean, that's what we see right now going through, is that really the front 5 are stable where they're at, and then it's 2x2 from there back. So you're not nearly as out of danger as you might think you are as we go through here. I mean, just kind of watching everyone go through, and the cars, nobody seems stable. Are you noticing that? Like, I'm noticing that.
Yeah, and I wonder, this setup, I wonder how it feels as Slaughter makes an aggressive move to get to the inside in that silver car behind, who is he in front of? He's in front of that Pepsi car of Zenobie, that is. But I wonder if it's the setup where it is dragging, because obviously when the car is dragging, it's not getting maximum grip, because it's just friction. It's extra friction. It's going to make the car push, make the car slide. You're not getting that. And a Daytona has enough speed to it where handling kind of is a thing to a small degree. So I wonder if all that bottoming out is doing anything.
It seems like it is here as we watch, and that doesn't surprise me a bit as we watch everyone go through. And I mean, they're just, at this point, if you're in that pack again, I think you settle in for the long run for the survival, but it seems like just survival is not on anyone's mind. Everyone wants that one position up, that other position up, and they're sort of just slowly working their way forward as they can. But if you're Jared Jackson, you're just cruising. You've got Ty Bass behind you. I mean, you two just connect together and just cruise through. Ty's not going to put any pressure on you early on. So I would just look at your windshield and just go. But anyone behind that, yeah, I don't envy these drivers right now. 2185.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm trying to figure out the balance, and we've covered, I believe we covered Talladega, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. I think we did. I know we covered Atlanta, and in those races that we did cover, these guys were aggressive the entire time. So I'm still trying to figure out, as again, still having some blinking there in 6 with Angel. I'm still trying to figure out exactly if it is the car in the drafting package that is leading to this style of racing, or if it is the drivers showing the patience. And based on everything that we read in the chat and we were involved in today, Brad, I would be hard pressed to believe the drivers are being patient, because they even expected this to be calamity ridden. But maybe they all went in with a similar mindset and just trying to chug some laps by. But remember, we have a stage in 8 laps.
Yeah, I have a feeling that right now the guys just know that they need to get through. Try not to make silly mistakes. Try to hold on here and settle it on. But man, also, I don't know if you remember this, but we covered a race earlier this year at Daytona where somebody blinked inside somebody. And I'm really hoping that doesn't happen here in this league like it did in that other league. But yeah, we did cover Talladega all the way back on the 1st of June. Over 2 months ago now, almost. But yeah, I'm thinking these guys are really just trying to ride things out. There's somebody pitting in, getting out of the way. That is going to be Daniel Williams.
Yep, so maybe he didn't start and park because he didn't want to cause any controversy here. So he ran a couple extra laps, and so they used to do back in the day. They do a start and park right around maybe like the mid 2000s and early 2010s. They do a start and park, and when you looked at the finishing order report, it would just say transmission or just engine or just some random generic item, because there was nothing actually wrong with the car.
What are we giving his excuse? Left joystick?
There you go. Or just internet. Just very generic internet. Well, either way, gets his point, and at the time of this recording, he won't be last. Actually, Anthony Suarez in the Tide ride is last, 6 laps down, but Suarez will surpass Daniel Williams, who's now 2 laps down. So in 4 laps, Anthony will get 1 spot back, and if wrecks start to happen, cautions, free passes, and attrition, he may get a couple spots. But the hardest part for him is where everybody has a fast repair. Even if there is a wreck, there's no guarantee that he's going to get those spots back, because everybody has at least 1 reprieve before they actually have to, call it quits on the night.
Yeah, it's, getting that safety net is such a nice thing to have at super speedways, because this track especially, you can be involved in an incident that is 100% not your fault, that you have no way to avoid. And that is more true than any other racetrack, honestly, here at Daytona. ARCA brake, we like to make fun of the ARCA brakes, Corey, but this is a track where genuinely, regardless of what you do, you could end up in a situation that looks ARCA brake, but there was no way to avoid it, even if you were having the best reaction time of your life. Well, Kyle Dewey, do he do it? Well, he will do his way up in the 6th place with McClendon really giving him the push. Look at that.
And he's giving him the best push possible. They peaked at about 198 miles per hour, and there's 193. Everyone's so tight on that bottom line, so he's not able to kind of double draft, if you will, and grab that extra suck up. But here they come. Usually the inside lane will lose momentum on entry with the checkup, but no checkups to be had. As you can see the 31 degrees of banking here. Got to witness that 31 degrees of banking last time I went to here to Daytona, and I'll tell you, it is so much different in person than the sim will depict. I ran up the tri-oval banking, and that was difficult, let alone doing double that. They wouldn't let you go in the corners, but if you do a track tour here, they'll let you go on the front stretch.
I put my signature right at the start of the tri-oval banking, and yeah, it is rough to walk up that banking, and then I went for the Rolex, and I'll be going back again in January. Can't wait. But,
this camera right here, that was roughly my view, about maybe 10 rows up from that. I sat really low because I was cheap, but even sitting really low, the only thing you really couldn't see from my perspective was the press box in the middle, the Daytona, like the victory lane press box. That was really the only thing. I was able to see Priest's car upside down on the back straightaway, a half mile away from maybe 8 rows up, surprisingly.
It is amazing the visibility you get at Daytona. There's really not a bad seat on that front stretch grandstand. Where I went, obviously, I went for the Rolex, so being able to see everything was a big deal for me. But I sat a bit higher than that. I sat about here for the race start.
Oh, gosh.
And, of course,
we're getting spicy.
Blinking. Oh, and 3 wide. Let's just mix blinking and 3 wide. That is a great decision here. Let's see how this ends up. I see wiggles. I see wiggles. Weeble wobble. Do they all fall down? No, they're holding on.
Yeah.
For now.
This ain't an OF age, but it's certainly getting spicy here in the back of the field here. That 333. You have to wonder what the drivers are saying on the radio. Like, bro, we can't race like this. We don't know where you are. We can't push. You're here. You're not there. And it kills the momentum. It creates stack-ups, as we see right here. On board with Sean Bradley. Now McClendon's going to go 3 wide on Ward Fisher here. And then now McClendon is going to be first in line behind Resendez here, who's having the case in point. He was getting ready for a bump draft, and the car fell out of the realm.
And the thing is, a lot of times the driver in that position that's blinking, sometimes they're not aware that they're blinking, even though, usually if you have an internet issue, you get the pop-up from iRacing that tells you, like, hey, your internet. But a lot of times the guys aren't paying attention to that.
Brad, Brad, we're coming to lap 30. This is coming to the stage. Remember, our stage is at the start of the designated lap. So this is actually our run to the checkers for the stage. It's going to be Jared Jackson.
Looked like some guys tried to make a break there at the start of the at the end of that lap and tried to make a run forward and just weren't able to. as you saw everybody kind of up front, they weren't getting, last lap crazy, but they were certainly looking for a move. And that tells me already that the end of this race is going to be wild.
Yeah, there's a potential if you have everybody wanting to make something happen, there's a chance that we can get something going. But if there's even 2-3 team drivers or affiliates just trying to get their way through and camping up that bottom lane, we certainly will not be able to get anywhere. But this is the stage, so the extra point goes to our race sponsor, Jared Jackson, who at the current rate we are going, and I know I'm saying this and it's going to be ruined in about 3 seconds, if he gets off pit road first, no, I guess that's not. I'm trying to come up with a plausible scenario where he could lead every lap of this race, which usually you'd never say that at a plate track, but I mean, if the cautions fall at the right time and the pit stops fall at the right time, it is physically plausible.
Yeah, that has actually thrown me off a little bit. Like, usually I don't get thrown off from things here, but no, the fact that Jared Jackson could lead every single lap of a plate race has kind of thrown me for a loop, because that's a interesting situation to be in, but I'm really, curious to see if he does it here. We'll see how pit road treats him. Is no surprise, everyone and their best friend is into the pits here. Let's see how it goes as Jackson's coming down all the way down the pit lane, and he will get a good safe stop, I have to say, in that Lexus, which, yes, I'm aware it's not a Lexus, but give me a break here. He has a Lexus on the front, so we're going to call it what it is, and let's see how he exits.
Race is out, race is hot, gets to the cone first. Gotta love that P1 stall. What? Tex? All right, I have questions and I do not have answers.
What is the question?
What in the hell happened to Tex?
Oh, no. Oh, no. I don't like when that's the question. Is that a hardware failure? That has to be a hardware failure. There's nothing else that could be.
He downshifted.
No.
He was in second and he went to first, which with a sequential transmission is actually very impressive to be able to do that, because with an H pattern, plausible. We all make that mistake, but with a sequential, that's more impressive. Saying that nice, he pays the bills here, so I don't want to get on his bad side, but that's impressive.
Man, I was hoping that wasn't that. It went through my head for a millisecond, and I was like, no, that wasn't what that was. Dang.
And he already used his fast repair, so he doesn't have a way around this one. So hopefully the damage, well, I don't know if the engine is catapulted. Obviously, the engines don't like that. They don't like that RPM spike. And the transmission certainly doesn't like it, but we'll see if he's able to get back out here. And I know we're supposed to have a talk with Jared Jackson, but that may have to wait.
I do not see him available.
All right, perfect, because we ran out of time anyways. So... But either way, we'll get doubled up, stacked up, ready to go back. Green flag racing here at the World Center of Racing. And we'll see if somebody can break up the spell of Jared Jackson sweeping the field here today.
Somebody's going to. I think somebody's going to. The question really is just who. And my answer to that is I don't know, but somebody surely is going to.
Text is done. Confirmed in our YouTube chat here.
I'm sorry, Tex. I am really sorry, Tex. That is rough, but the good news is that, there's 2 more races in the season at least. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's always better to think on the optimistic side because, well, obvious reasons, but either way, we'll get doubled up, stacked up, ready to go back. Green flag racing here. Lap number 32 coming to 33. That'll put give us about a 20 lap fuel run to the end. So remember, we will go roughly 32, 33 laps, somewhere in that ballpark. So everyone will be back to pit road one more time. It'll just be a matter of when, how well you execute. What do you do? Do you take a full fuel load? Do you take tires? That would be the question. Or is a caution going to come out and put us in a predicament that way? We'll find out together, but we're doubled up, stacked up, and let's get the second stage underway, Brad.
Yeah, coming down to the start-finish line here, the iRacing Camry is going to pull off there to the inside, coming into the Geico restart zone. It's going to be green flag from Barney. There we are. We are underway for this second half of the race, and Jackson's just going to take off on him. But guess what? It's Daytona. It doesn't matter that he takes off because they're going to just settle back in single file, send it down towards turn 1, turn 2. It looks like for the moment, everybody keeping it together. Just it takes them to the end of this straightaway to get up to speed.
What? It's delicious. Aloysius Corey Al. Huh? You know inside jokes more than I do.
Nope, don't know this one at all.
Straight off the spreadsheet, so yeah, I don't know. But whatever you wanted to say, Mark, everyone sees it now. So if it's an inside joke, those people are now chuckling. But up fronty, what do we have up here? We have, is that Jeff Slaughter? Yes, it is. He is, however, I don't think he's on the lead. Is he? Now, who's that on the outside lane? It looked a lot like Slaughter's car. It's behind, is that Emery? Oh, it is.
Okay, yeah, no, that is.
So William is good at one thing. And never mind, we're wrecking. We big junk. We are big junk.
That is the second time tonight you've said a driver's name and then just...
It started with the 34. At least that's Emmert. To the back of the 34, right rear hook. And there they go, wrecking aplenty. Everybody stayed on their lid. Everyone stayed on all fours. But yeah, that is not a good girl gone bad. That's a bad push gone bad. I mean, not really many other things to say about that one. Just it was a right rear hook, and you know, all these drivers will be quite chuffed that they have a fast repair.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that is just the fast repair is so handy.
Wait, Brad! The perfect race! The perfect race! No, wait.
He's got to cross the line.
It's plausible. Wait. How? Because they were side by side pushing for the lead. All right. I mean, it went almost halfway, so we'll have a... No, he's not available. I was saying we do our sponsor interview, but he's not available. But, no, it's back in play. Is it back in play? This is drama, folks. This is what we live for. It's not we're not TNT, but we know drama. It's in play. Emmert coming into the pits. I wonder if there's any damage. Doesn't look
Clearly
at.
There's damage. I mean, he hooked a car.
Yeah, but he kind of drove away straight, though.
Yeah, you got a good point there.
But this is well out of any plausible fuel window. See if any tires go up. No. Looking on the back end, not using any. He's not using any fast repair. So there must be some level of damage.
Fuel and go.
That's a lot of fuel, but.
Or no, then he's just
some
trying
kind of
to
damage.
get damage repaired outside of fast repair. So yeah, perfect run is still on.
So but from what we saw, it's plausible to get some of it back. And there goes Suarez. He is now 5 laps down. And he's passed Tex Nichols, he's passed Dan Williams, and in one more lap, he will have passed Cam Kane. So that will put Suarez first 1 lap down and 29th, rather 30th, excuse me. So if there's 5 more cautions, that 023 might still be in it.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was. That's, again, just one of those things. Welcome to Daytona.
Indeed. Welcome to Daytona, indeed. Oh, what the... I'm sorry, I just got heavily distracted, but I'm good now. You know those apps where if you buy something, you click on the affiliate link and then you buy something and then you get like cash rewards for it?
Yes.
I bought something from... I bought a bike rack for my minivan for my vacation that you will be covering in about 2 weeks' time. Hopefully you remembered it. You remember it, right?
Yeah,
This is our banter that I usually say off air, but I'm saying it on air because we need filler talk right now. But yeah, I bought something, a bike rack through an affiliate link, and I just got an email saying, hey, you just got $25. And I'm like, oh, wait, what? And I'm like, oh yeah, I used the affiliate link. So if you're looking to buy something, folks, look for affiliate links. Capital One Shopping, Fetch, Rakuten, Ibotta, something. There's money to be had if you need to spend it. Wise tips from Corey here on PTR TV. Everyday knowledge, vital information for your everyday life. If you watched all that in 1998, you would get that reference. But one to go here in the restart, not in the race. We have yet to eclipse the halfway point. But Jared Jackson still batting the perfect ball game here. He's got Ty Bass, and if there's one driver in this race that is not patient, I can say that from both a broadcast perspective and I've raced with him perspective. That is Ty Bass, and he will try to get that broken in no time.
Yeah, Ty Bass is definitely going to be in position to go through and try to get this run. It wouldn't surprise me a bit if he is able to knock this one out of the park and break.
You did a funny there because we were doing baseball jokes, and you did a baseball pun.
You're welcome. I knew where that was going. You're welcome.
Next, we just have to get a baseball mode into Bristol iRacing now. Can we... They actually did put Bristol in the MLB 25 game. Not enough for me to buy it. I don't care that much about baseball, but actually it's pretty cool that they're going to have Bristol Motor Speedway in a baseball video game here. A lot of side talk here.
Hey, Corey.
Hi, that's me.
Daniel Williams in Discord. Kudos to the broadcast. You guys nailed the roasting. Joystick is the fitting reason for me out of the race. PS5 controller, not ideal. Called it. Oh,
that was in the Discord?
Yep.
All right. I don't think I actually roasted, but maybe you did. Maybe you've been more, maybe I'm becoming too nice in my elder states age here, but still riding the high off of a good Brickyard 400. I won't spoil that for anybody who hasn't watched it, but it's Sunday night and you're a part of a NASCAR series, so if you didn't watch it, I guess that's kind of on you. But either way, pace car is in. Can Jared Jackson continue his streak? He's going to go early in the zone here. Take that green flag, lap number 38 here. Ty Bass will drop to the bottom in front of Timothy O'Connor. And to the top we have Crothers and Herzog, but we'll see if they abort and try to pull back in line. Nope, they'll show dedication. There goes Hopkins pulling in there.
Yeah, Hopkins pulling in there, going through, and let's just watch how these lines develop here, because that's always the part that gets interesting to me, is not necessarily how things develop through 1 and 2. It's the backstretch where you really see drivers sort of pick their pros, cons, pick their friends and their enemies, and you sort of just watch and see where it happens, because this is always going to be interesting. Just what they decide to do. Just watch them sort of figure it out.
Don't focus on the blinker car, Corey.
Yeah, I mean, even with blinking, though, everybody holding on here, crossing the line. Jared Jackson, the perfect run is still on, but Ty Bass, it looks like, is settled in behind Jared Jackson. The teammates going to work together here for a little bit.
And you can see here, we're just ripping the bottom of the racetrack, and Herzog in the in-and-out Camry trying to make that outside lane work with the push from Kyle Dewey and company. Steve McClendon back there, our prior champion, trying to throw his hat into the mix here, but nothing to be done, at least at this moment. When you have two drivers, the first two drivers in a single lane dedicated to the same plan, basically makes it impossible to get something going in a different lane.
Yeah, that's kind of the biggest issue that comes in, and it really does sort of stack and pronounce itself in this car too, is that sometimes just getting that run going can be so hard. I'm curious to kind of see how the drivers act and what comes out of this here as we go into the long run of this race, into the back end here, as we're only lap 40 of 85. We've got 45 laps to go here. We haven't crossed the halfway stage yet, but on the back half, how do those guys on the high line or the low line decide to act? Do they decide to kick through wide? Can they get some friends to go with them? Because as of right now, that second line has really stuttered behind the top 3, top 4, and just been stuck there. It hasn't been able to catch. It hasn't been able to do anything. It's just there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's just stagnated, and it takes a push from somebody else, or it takes a wreck. Somebody in the wall. It was the blinker as Angel Resendez here into the wall, and didn't cause any other issues to anybody else, but we'll take a look at the PTR TV replay. Look at that Sitco car on the, and he gone. And when he came back, he got turned by somebody. But can't blame that driver, because you can't blame it when you can't see him. I think that is... Actually, I still can't tell who that was. Oh, that was Emmert. That's who it was. We'll get a quick replay of that, and then we'll go back to live footage. And this is the difficulty of battling with a blinker.
Yeah, I mean, just nothing you can do there. Blinker's there, blinker's gone, blinker's there, blinker's gone, and here we go. You think you have space to come up, and then boop, there it is. Nothing that can be done.
Luckily, that was a single car incident, so we continue on and racing, as really haven't missed anything. But as we have seen multiple times here today, we have a second pack forming. Actually, we have 2 little mini packs. We have Jeremy Brown, who, didn't he win a race in one of the league? Was it here or was it in the area? I don't remember. Jeremy Brown won a race somewhere recently. I think it was here, wasn't it? I don't know. But Dylan Freeman, he's going to pass him, and Brown will blend on in. Nathan Smith, a name that I don't recall hearing. Matt Robinson, remember, he was involved in something. And then we go back another 2 seconds, and a trio of drivers. Zenobi, I think I could see some left front damage on that Pepsi car. Al Corey there. These drivers are close enough that I would think that if they had worked together and even gone on the radio to the pack in front, said, hey guys, let's work together. 7 cars will be better than 4 and 3. Maybe they can get closer.
Yeah, it's one of those that you need friends really to work together here and go through, as we see. I mean, I want to call it the train, but it's really the snake, the way it's wiggling around the backstretch. Both lines very much struggling just to hold the straight line there. Ty Bass, little bump there to Jared Jackson. They continue along, and top line starting to get a run. Are we going to finally see Jared Jackson's perfect streak broken? Not this lap, maybe next lap here, as Herzog is up in the 3rd. He's going to be up in the 2nd here momentarily with a good shove coming there from Kyle Dewey. Do he have anything to answer for? But no, Herzog just has no pace, and you can see Dewey almost looks like he's thinking about ditching him here and just breaking off to the high line and leaving Herzog alone, but he's just not able to. Herzog is just almost defending, but I think just trying to get the run here.
Well, and the problem that Dewey is probably having too, and you can see it, he's popping out. He pushed consecutively for so long, about a lap and a half or so. His radiator starting to, get too hot. He's getting that red light on his water temp gauge, and now he can't push as aggressively. He's having to peep out, get some air, watch that gauge, and keep those temps in check, or else his engine will go kerplunk. So that, after about 2 laps of aggressive pushing, tends to be a struggle. But here comes Herzog. This is an actual battle for the lead. First time we've seen it all race here, as we've eclipsed the halfway point, and that outside is going to have it. This may be the perfect race, ending on lap 45. It almost certainly will be.
Yeah, I'll be surprised to see Jackson get this run through and be able to work his way back up in the lead before the tri-oval here. He's going to try it. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's going to try it, but will he be able to make it stick is the $1 million question here. Kyle Dewey might actually take this from Herzog and lead this lap. Let's watch as they come through turn tri-oval, and around they go. And I almost said turn 4, and I was like, this isn't turn 4. This is the tri-oval, but Kyle Dewey leads the lap there. Jared Jackson down into 5th. First time he's been in the pack.
I mean, put that up as a podcast topic as well. Why isn't a tri-oval a turn? Because you are turning the wheel, and it actually is one of the most difficult parts of these super speedways because of how much wheel you have in it. You're going full speed. The car gets very light. But for some reason in Overworld, we don't call them turns. So that can podcast topic for another day. But the perfect race is over. So we'll now have Kyle Dewey leading this thing down with Mark Herzog in second. Jared Jackson back to third. He still is the highest of the playoff drivers, which is a statistic that he can hold true to, because typically these plate races, you just want to persevere and get through it. It's not so much a matter of winning. Of course, that's nice, but it's just a matter of getting through a playoff plate race.
Getting through the race is the hard part, let's be honest with ourselves here, but it does seem like the guys are doing a fairly good job of doing that all the way through. I've been watching that second pack there just quietly sit in the back. They haven't really been losing time. They haven't been gaining a lot of time there, and it kicks off with the number 31 of Dylan Freeman. I mean, he's sort of been sitting where he's at. Gap is at about 6 seconds to the leader, and it's not really a horrible position he's found himself in. If there's another caution, I mean, he'll close in really quick. And I have a feeling that, even this backpack here with Dylan Freeman, Jeremy Brown giving a big shove there, can still find their way forward here, these four working together.
Yeah, they'll need a little bit more help, a lot of it more help here to make things happen here. But of course, round one of our playoffs, we have a 3-race round for our playoffs rather than a 1-race finale. See triple bypass doing something the NASCAR should be doing, more than 1 race. We got Daytona here. We'll head to the Phoenix Raceway on August 3rd, and you'll actually be covering the championship race there, Brad, because I will be out of state. We will be finishing up our championship at the Darlington Raceway on August 10th. So a very difficult round. You got a lottery track, you got a flat 1-miler, and then you got probably the hardest oval track on the circuit to conclude our championship here, season 8.
Yeah, this is going to be a really, really good one to watch through for the run to the end of the season. Again, just looking at those final couple of rounds, I'm excited to see how they play out. You're probably going to get to hear me really go on a fit next week. I have beef with Phoenix, but that's a me issue, but it'll still be fun. These guys always put on good racing, and it's been a fun season so far, and I'm excited for next
Brad.
season.
Give us the beef.
No, why would I give it this week when I can save it for next week?
All right, fair.
Let's just say it has to do with a certain thing that's called a yellow line and track limits, and maybe it's because of my road course history, but yeah, I have a strong opinion about track limits.
Yeah, and I'm on board with that as well, as somebody who does do this roundy turn lefty as my primary form of motorsport here. Who is that to the outside? Who is going down a lap? That is Matt Harmon. Going 1 lap in arrears, and that number 28. Let's see how much damage he has, if we can get a perspective on that number 28 automobile. Actually, doesn't look too bad. Let's see, the spark situation has not gotten better. He hasn't used his fast repair, but he is in position for a lucky dog if we wreck. And remember, we still do have a pit stop to be had. We'll switch our timers on the ticker to stints. So we're 20 laps in out of an estimated 30-ish, 30 to 32, somewhere in that ballpark, maybe 35 if you really stretch it. Either way, we're about 10 to 15 laps away from a pit stop, which sometimes pit stops are a source of cautions when everyone's trying to roll up and get slowed down at the same time.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see how the drivers handle those green flag pit stops. They're not easy, honestly, even though, you kind of think it should be. The hardest part, honestly, of the green flag pit stop is getting down off the track. And drivers, sometimes they do it well, sometimes they do it bad, and sometimes there's just ultimate miscommunication for who's going where for what. And I don't really know what it is that does that miscommunication. The only thing I can assume is it's guys just not getting on the mic and saying, hey, I'm pitting in, or, what's the key line? Is it 1? That just fast chats it that says, pitting in?
Or, you could pit without telling people. I'm not going to advise it or recommend it, but you just have to make a concerted effort and pull to the inside lane without slowing up. And here comes Jared Jackson. His perfect race has been ruined, but he is going back for the lead, and it got quickly taken away. Nicholas Deal, what's the deal with that move? He went and just threw the 12 out to pasture there. And he has a humongous divot on the front end of that car as we're 3 wide here for a brief moment. 12 is going to push that 92, but let's look at the rear deck lid. This is on board with Herzog. Look at the damage to that number 92. He certainly is not going to be able to lead a train with that front end damage.
He's certainly going to try, though. Like that's the thing, is he's going to try to lead. It's not going to be pretty, but he's going to try to make it work, and
it's just not going to sustain as drag worthy as these cars are already. Have an extra drag, and it's just going to be that little divot on the hood. That's just going to be an extra scoop of air that just slows that thing down. Currently, Jason Benson with the push from Steve McClendon trying to make that outside lane work. Somebody all the way to the bottom of the racetrack, and they were splitting Derek Catt. Again, this Catt seems to be in the mix of a lot of issues here today. He hasn't had an issue, but he seems to be in the mix of it on camera every time. Let's see what happened to the SpongeBob mobile.
Let's see here. This is going to be...
Did he try to pit, or did he clear himself here? Get a closer shot.
I think he cleared himself, honestly. I don't know why he did that, though.
Yeah, and then Corner just did a good job in the Dr. Pepper car to evade it. But yeah, I can't really explain that move, but that will cause him to lose the draft. And all the way back there in 20th, now even Corner. He lost the lead, which I'm surprised of. I didn't think he checked up that much, but either way, unfortunate for them, because no guaranteed cautions between now and the end of the race. Who's that, Suarez? Yes, it is. So he went from gaining laps to now losing laps in the tied ride. So back to 6 laps arrears. But Jared Jackson still trying to make that outside work, and Deal goes back up right in front of the 12. But that front end damage, it's just going to hinder, I think, any attempt. I'll be very surprised if they can make something happen.
Jackson's going to eventually try to break away from Deal, I bet, and just work the high line and maybe just try to sort of put him into the fatal funnel and send him all the way to the back here. We'll see if he's able to pull that off. The big thing is, Daytona, it's a tight track for the speeds that you're holding consistently. It's a very tight track that you have to just sort of watch a little bit, because when you get a guy like that, he's going to want to just force his way back into the lane wherever he can. If you start sending him down the middle to shuffle in the order, he's going to want to put himself where he can, but the speed difference will be so much that it can cause the wreck. And well, here we go. I mean, just push comes to shove, force his way up, and at least on the backstretch, the 92 is in the front.
Yeah, he is, but now they get to the corner, and then Herzog giving a huge push to Kyle Dewey, and then he washes up, probably to get some air on the radiator here. Coming off of 4, it'll be a drag race to the stripe, and actually that 92 damage at all. He's going to lead this lap. Jared Jackson trying to figure out where to go with it, and he's going to continue to give a push. They'll be clear to the bottom of the racetrack, and nope. Jared Jackson says, I ain't pushing you. I was debating doing a song that's highly inappropriate, but I will spare our YouTube license for that. Ty Bass going to go back to pushing the 12, and Deal's lead is short-lived.
I mean, for Deal, it's a big deal to even lead a little. Oh, that's a jump from the top 3. All 3 wanted back on the bottom line. Nicholas Deal might have to deal with a little bit of a heart attack after that. Goodness gracious me. Coming through around and down the front stretch. Guys, we're only lap 57, 58 as we cross the line. Let's reel it back a little bit here. We got some time to get to lap 85. You don't have to wind it up yet, but this front pack here, they've decided to get a little bit feisty.
And we're going back to the baseball puns, though. Wind up and throw the pitch at it here, and here comes a fastball from Jason Benson. I don't really know how to describe a bump draft in baseball terms, but either way, a huge push here, and will Benson clear himself? I think McClendon and Benson can clear. Actually, the trio will clear. Sean Bradley, a trio draft, manages to clear and get back to the bottom of the track as, again, we're closing in on pit stops. We're 27 laps in, actually. 2 drivers are on a different fuel situation. McClendon and Bradley both have an extra 5 laps in the cell, as well as Risto, Brad Kress, Emmert. I don't know if they're all going to try to pit together or if they're just going to, redact that extra fuel and just coming with everybody else.
Yeah, here's going to be the problem is that if we get a caution here in the next few minutes with the way these guys in the top 5 are driving, I mean, having that extra fuel, not having that extra fuel, it's not going to really matter at that point because these guys, I mean, are absolutely sending it through. Watching as they go around here up through the high line, through 3 and 4, they're going to go heading towards the tri-oval, the corner that's not a corner because welcome to America where tracks make no sense. Coming through and a couple of gimmies there.
Yeah, Ty Bass went below the line there, which, that's not legal per league rules as in a pass, but you can go down there if the necessity arises. But maybe just drifted down there. But McClendon, highest he's been on the day, and for the first time he has been the lead playoff driver in that second position. You could see playoffs 2, 3, 4, and then you have a stretch of them 11th through 14th, all the way at the back of the pack. You have Crothers, Wu, Harcum, Kress back there 11th through 15th. Hopkins, the lowest of the playoff drivers, I believe, in the 18th spot in that number 10 automobile. So, but he is out of the draft as well. So that certainly is not going to help any of his causes out. But either way, we are on lap number 60 and just waiting for those ever elusive pit stops.
They're going to come eventually. It's just a question of when, but they're going to come eventually. We know they have to. And again, I think the other question is, do they come during a green flag? Do they come during a caution? Do they cause a caution?
Well, we'll find out together. They are all single filing out rather quickly here, which would implore me to believe that they are going to be sooner rather than later. And we'll just check out here. What is any of these laps now? We'll wait for that pull off turn number 4. Didn't happen yet. But again, we are for our leader Jason Benson, 31 laps into that stint, so he does not have much fuel in that cell. Again, I was told 32 laps, and hypermiling, super saving in the draft maybe gets you a couple more, but ain't no way you're getting to 85, so a pit stop will be required.
Yeah, he's not making it to the end, but he is going to, still be in a good position here, nevertheless, going through. It's going to be a mixed bag getting to the end, that's for sure, here as we go through and around. And let's see, does anyone pit this time by? Is anyone going to do the big pit stop? A couple guys really hugging the line there, but nobody decides to make it through. And, as we go through, we're running to lap 85. We're 63. You can do the math. That's 22 laps to go here. Coming through as they, again, they've stretched out this single file run, which is really interesting. It's not what I was expecting, but I think, if you're a driver, you see this single file stretch out happen in this front pack. I mean, at this point, this is just the guys expecting pit stops to come, and nobody wants to be caught out on the outside line when they want to pit. Coming through 3 and 4 this time around. I don't know if anyone's going to go for it here. I don't know if anyone's going to pit here, but we'll just see what happens.
On board with Crothers, he's in 11th, and here we go. This is the mass rush to pit road, and a couple drivers staying out. Is there going to be issues? Of course there's issues. There's big issues.
Oh.
Emmert, and who is that he has stopped? He has stopped the 5. And somebody, the Darrell Waltrip car, overshot his pit box. Let's take a look here. Oh, he came in like Curry for 3 there. Used Nick Deal as a brake. And just bad luck there for the 5 of Elton Wu.
Came in like a wrecking ball.
That too. That's why sometimes it's better to even though that you'll lose speed for 1 lap, sometimes it's actually better to pit as in a smaller pack, just because you have more room to work with here. You can see how much more smooth that entry was. Ty Bass, Jackson, and O'Connor. Just 3 cars in that lead, the whole trio. And that leaves a few on track, more than a few actually. We have, what is it, about 1, 2, 3, 4, Hopkins all the way back to corner, so about 7 drivers in this next pack. Most of the consensus has been fuel only, about 9-second pit stops. That's been relatively the normality here, so maybe 2 tires and a half tank of fuel, 2/3 of a tank of fuel should get you to the end.
I think so, yeah, and that'll be a good position to be in here. These guys stay out for another lap at least going through, and you know, for the guys that are only hitting lap 30 here, I gotta wonder, is it worth it for them just to, you know, go ahead and pit now and just sort of hit that reset button, or are they going to stay out for a while? And hey, is that Al Corey I see up in P9? Silent Sleeper Al, who is probably going to be trying to race his way there. He's been very quiet tonight and hasn't really caught himself up in anything. He's pulling into the pits here, got a couple of guys coming with him, which is always what you want. And let's see how he ends up going through. And look at him staying all the way down in the box, making sure he doesn't get hit, and clean stop.
All right, and then we'll watch the rest of them, which every lap they stay out is less fuel that they need to take. But, you know, if a caution comes out, it's not going to mean anything. They're not going to gain anything out of this. They're 30 seconds ahead of the leaders. And it takes about 30 seconds to do a 2-tire and fuel pit stop here. But that doesn't account for getting up to speed. So realistically, probably would take 40 seconds to get up to speed and blend out, so they'll still end up behind the draft as they were prior. But coming out, and what will be the lead pack is what here is on the screen, and Benson right back to where he was, but now he has McClendon and he has Sean Brownlee pushing. Jared Jackson back to 4th, Ty Bass in 5th within this pack, which again, this should be the lead battle once that top pack makes their stops.
Watching here, and there's your top pack coming in as they go through. Everybody hard on the brakes. Looks like everyone got down to speed coming through, and Jeremy Brown will lead them through. And, you know, again, they can take slightly less fuel. They can have a slightly shorter pit stop. Let's see if it shuffles anything up for them as they go through, as the lead pack is about 15, 16 seconds back here coming through. Some guys are already out and going. On board there with Benson leading this pack as they come around. There's the start-finish line, and it looks like a lot of these guys are out, but they still need to get up to speed.
Yeah, no chance.
No, they might catch back up to this pack here in a few laps, but we'll just have to see.
Well, remember, they were behind. They were out of the draft even before that. They may, and this is a super stretch, no pun, because that's what the name of the backstretch is, super stretch. No, they're not even going to be able to tag onto this pack. They'll get a little bit of tow from it. But that pack, anything usually without of a second is you're gonna run out of steam on. So Jeremy Brown, Nathan Smith, they'll fall back. They're already 6 seconds back, so they will need a caution flag. And now we are back to single file with 18 laps left to go. This would be as good a time as ever, probably, to do it through the field while they're single file and pit stops have completed. Jason Benson leading this thing down with Steve McClendon in 2nd, playoff driver. Another playoff driver, Sean Bradley, with another playoff driver in the form of Jared Jackson. Ty Bass running in 5th, Timothy O'Connor in 6th, playoff driver Keaton Carruthers in 7th, Kyle Dewey in the 8th spot. We have Herzog in 9th, and then Ben Harcum, playoff driver. We haven't spoken about him too much tonight. He is in 10th.
Going up from there, P11, Jeff Slaughter in the back-to-front car. And then P12, Ward Fisher in the sponsorless red, number 84. From there, we're going to go Nicholas Deal. He's been a big deal there. Look at him making a dive there in P13. Jeremy Brown in 14th. Nathan Smith will find his way into P15. P16 on the night, that's Dylan Freeman. With P17 coming around there to Matthew Robinson. P18 on the night, Brad Kress leading this pack, another playoff driver. P19, Donald Risteau in the 19th position, and 20th is Elton Boone running a Red Bull paint scheme.
And we got Emmert here in 21st. He has had a chaotic day. Josh Corner in the 22nd spot, excuse me. Derek Catt in 23rd, last on the lead lap. I mean, that right front's not right fronting for Michael Hopkins, playoff driver. That's not good for him. Al Corey is in 25th, off the lead lap, as with Michael Seymour. Zanobi 27th, Matt Harmon 28th, Anthony Suarez 29th, and then Tex is in 30th, the last driver registered in the session, although he is out of the race. Not sure what happened to Hopkins there, but obviously that car ain't doing things that it's supposed to do. Oh,
yeah, and it's...
Might as well try to find out here. We've got a little bit of time, so, I mean, this is a guess. I think I know what happened.
Avril Lavigne made it complicated. Is exactly what happened there.
That's a bad hook gone bad. So, but the second time we've seen that done tonight. I know it happened to the 333, I think it was, at one point or another, but that'll be detrimental to Hopkins' playoff endeavors here, because with 3 races, don't really have a lot of buffer room, but we're single file, and okay, that's kind of how these playoff races, these plate races work in the real world. We're 2-3 wide, we're hectic, but then when time comes push to shove, they kind of sizzle out because everyone's afraid to lose positions. They know how difficult it is to pass, so everyone's afraid to lose positions. So you really have to trust that the people around you are going to make the move with you. And until you gain that trust, you just kind of stay in line and wait for that hopefully to happen.
I mean, if I'm Sean Bradley right now, I have Jared Jackson behind. Jared Jackson is very clearly going to want to be up in front. So Sean Bradley is probably going to feel a little bit more confident to make that move. But the thing is, as soon as he ducks out of line, Steve McClendon's going to come with him there just in front of him. And as soon as they duck out of line, Jared Jackson goes with. You end up in a weird position where if you're Jared Jackson, you make the move and everybody in front and behind follows. And I mean, at that point, the line just stays the line. You're not really changing anything there as it goes through. You've got to have the trust that other drivers come with. But the thing is, everyone's going to go with. And again, as you said, these cars, we could talk for hours about how hard these cars are to pass in. And it doesn't matter really what track it is. These cars just don't seem to hit the mark for passability when it goes through. And, you know, with 12 laps to go, I'm hard-pressed to see if anyone's really going to try to force this thing into something crazy to the end.
Yeah, at the end of the day, right now, our top pack is 8th. There are a couple extra drivers in that pack, Al Corey and Seymour, but they are off the lead lap. So actually, I'll take that back. I would say they'll probably just sit there and ride, but Al raced me when I was in 6th when he was 30 laps down. So Al may get himself into this just for the fun of it, maybe to help somebody out. But either way, you're guaranteed. Was that a little too aggressive, Brad? You saw the replay.
No, not at all.
You saw the replay of that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, train of thought. You're guaranteed a top 8, which in a 30-car grid, 33-car grid, a top 8 is good. So the risk-reward of not doing anything is not that drastic, especially because, you know, Dewey, he's not in the playoffs. Ty Bass not in. Benson, O'Connor. So the risk reward is not that high for some of them, and it's a lot higher for others because, you know, McClendon, Bradley, Jackson, they want to get as high as they can. There is a little bit more pressure with Crothers to maybe pick a couple off, but if they just sit and ride, it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, live to fight another day. That's really all I've got at this point is live to fight another day. It's the best that you can do, especially with 3 races in the playoff run. If you are looking for that playoff, I wouldn't force anything. I mean, it gives Benson a free win, yeah, but it guarantees you another round. If you're anyone else, anywhere else, I mean, you kind of have to force the issue. Was that 3 wide in the background there behind the 84 of Ward Fisher that I just saw?
I think they were just all kind of fluffling around off corner exit. But again, that's our second pack. It's Slaughter, Fisher, Deal, and Harcum. We go back at 13 seconds to a duo of sorts. That is Jeremy Brown and Nathan Smith. And then very quickly swallowing up that gap is Brad Kress, Elton Wu, 2 playoff drivers who are not in ideal situations. But they will try to get themselves sorted out here, get in that draft. They'll pick off those two with a super head of steam here, as we are now sub 10 laps to go. Are they going to pull? No, he didn't even pull out a line. He backed up and just continued the trend. That's very surprising.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, honestly. I would just settle in, just let it go and hold on to it here. I don't think there's a sense in forcing anything unnecessary, even though we are, in this different pack. I just think it's one of those that you just settle into the end.
Yeah, and Brad, this is why, I'll tell you, I was talking earlier about the technicalities of, the fact that the next gen has so much drag, the fact that handling doesn't come into play, it's foot to the floor, the car is basically at terminal velocity, it can't go any faster, essentially. That's why Atlanta has actually put on some of the best racing in this drafting style, because they're not at terminal velocity. The car creates runs. You're off the throttle. You're getting handling in play, so therefore you can create runs. You can, as a driver, manipulate the situation without necessarily needing help from behind. And again, the next gens, I don't fault the drivers here. This is the next gen car. The drivers don't have full control of the situation. These cars are as fast as they can go. Pulling out a line by yourself is a death sentence. So, I mean, if you watch the real world, we're emulating it pretty closely.
Yeah, we really are. And again, it's one of those, do you like realism or do you want fun racing? Kind of pick your poison in the battles. We see a couple of wiggles there on corner exit, but nobody really opting to do anything. Again, keeping that single file run, keeping things going for the moment here. The 77, Sean Bradley just sitting behind the 12, Jared Jackson with Ty Bass, O'Connor, and et cetera, all the way back through this pack of 13 that we're just continuing along here and going as that pack starting with Jeremy Brown is starting to close the pack a little bit here. They've cut the gap to under 13 seconds now, and actually it's now going to spread out through the trial with a 13-2. So disregard anything I was about to say there about us possibly having a run.
Yeah, I mean, we are. Well, let's just take a look here. I thought this gap was getting closer. Now, you see the 3 seconds to the leader, that's important, but the more important is to the next position, 2.4. Getting this to about 1 would be plausible to, get them all the way there. Last time by, Herzog about 0.2 faster than the car in front of him. That's obviously not enough. He would need to probably gain a half second a lap to even have a plausible chance. But we will come to, I think, 5 laps to go this time by. Remember, overtime is in play, I think, for 2 attempts if the need requires it. But at the rate it's going, I don't necessarily. Well, what do I know? I literally called a wreck by saying things were clean. So I don't think things are going to head ourselves into overtime, but I've already made one mistake in that capacity tonight.
I mean, I don't think things are bad, though. That's the thing, as we watch them go through. I don't think there's any sort of craziness to come unless somebody makes a big mistake somewhere. And again, you can't discount human error. That is the one thing that can always sort of wreak havoc here as we ride on board and just watch how things play out. And again, everyone just settling in there, just enjoying the run here, 4 to go. And this is that intense moment that starts to come in. What point do you try to make a move? What point do you really shake things up? Benson's led 19 laps. He needs 4 more to the end. Sean Bradley would love to just lead the 1 lap that counts. Steve McClendon would love to lead a lap here and cement himself a great playoff position. Let's just see what happens here. You see Benson's fact, and obviously him leading right now might dispute it, but who are we? I mean, straight from the spreadsheet.
Exactly that. And, in the real world, what do they do when a non-playoff driver wins? They just rub it in their face. Hey, you're not in the playoffs, but you won a race. We're not going to do that if that does indeed happen. But, 7.5 miles of racing left on the docket, which a lot can happen. McClendon has been very content to push the 42. They've been working together even in reverse order at various points. Sean Bradley looking there, and now Jared Jackson That was just an intent move. He knew no one was going to go, but what he's trying to do is he's peeping in the mirror saying, all right, is anybody biting if I make a move? And he saw that the answer was no. And that's both deflating, but luckily he was able to get back in line without losing a spot.
Yeah, and seeing him be able to get that back in line, that's going to be very important there. It's going to kind of give him a moment of, you know what, if I need to do something and dive back in, I can do that and dive back in. He's going to feel pretty good. Just watch what happens here. 2 to go. Still plenty of racing left here. Even though these laps do go quick for the length of the track, still plenty of time for someone to decide to do something somewhere. And I would say McClendon and Bradley are the ones to watch, but Al Corey back there in the back tried to go high. Nothing there. He's going to slip back in.
He is one lap down.
I mean, you know, he could try to mix it up, and look at McClendon shoving there, Benson.
And here we come off of turn number 4. Barney will have the flag in hand, and he'll get ready to get it waving. So we'll finish this in regulation. 1 lap to go here at the Daytona International for the On Edge 85. They are getting feisty behind. That second pack did manage to catch up. They do have a head of steam. Herzog and Dewey with a turbocharge here. Can they pull off an upset?
Certainly going to try it. Let's see what happens here as that turbocharge comes through. Can they make anything happen here? Coming down the backstretch, going into 3. Wiggle down, go high. Pick your lane, pick your poison. But McClendon here definitely going to be looking, going to be pushing. Here we go through 3 and 4. What's going to happen?
Coming through 3 and 4 here. Tandem draft. Will he pull out a line? Will McClendon try to pull out a line high or low? The bottom is blocked. He's going to go up to the top. He's going to have a head of steam. Coming to the checkers. Photo finish. Who got it? McClendon preliminarily got the win by 7 1/1000ths. To quote Larry Mack, he timed it perfectly.
And that
is why
is what super speedway.
Yeah, that's why you don't write off a boring race until the very end, when they pull out and surprise you there with a photo finish. Let's pull it out here, and you can see he pulled out of line right there. And then we'll just forward this to the end, and I think I can do a slow-mo shot here at the line, and we'll watch it come into shot here. Try to get that exact photo finish coming into shot. Boom. Yep, there it is.
Wow.
So congratulations go to McClendon, the past champion, trying to defend, and you know, Benson just looking for the ego boost here to improve his season, and had it till about 250 feet before the line, and struggling with the burnout on the banking is McClendon, but he'll burn it on down here at Daytona. I think he's kind of stuck on the banking, and that's kind of embarrassing. He's literally stuck.
How did he?
He's stuck on the banking. The rear wheels are not connected. I think the diffuser and the banking put him in a... and that's where he's eventually going to respawn to, but let's go ahead and do our post-race show. Things we don't expect to see, Brad, but let's start our post-race show here from Daytona International. Steve McClendon gets the exciting win by literally 7 1/1000ths of a second over Jason Benson. You got a feel for him. It was in his grasp. Sean Bradley with 3rd, Jared Jackson, our race sponsor, in 4th, Kyle Dewey in 5th, Mark Herzog in 6th, Ty Bass 7th, O'Connor, Crothers, and Ward Fisher rounding out our top 10.
Moving on from there, we're going to go P11, Jeff Slaughter. Nicholas Deal will deal with P12. Ben Harcum, one of our playoff drivers, in P13. Dylan Freeman, 14th. Elton Wu in P15. Derek Catt, Jeremy Brown, 16th and 17th, respectively. Brad Kress in P18. Matthew Robinson, P19. And William Emmert in P number 20.
Rounding out our field here, corner in 21st, Nathan Smith, 22nd. Donald Ristow, 23rd. Dominic Zanobi, 24th. Michael Seymour, 25th. We got 3 playoff drivers. Al Corey, Matt Harmon, Michael Hopkins, 26th, 27th, 28th. Suarez in Resendez, 30th, 29th, 30th. And just to finalize our final page, Tex Nichols, Cam Kane, Daniel Williams, and Gary Wright right in that last position. I don't think Gary actually took a lap here today, if I'm honest, but either way, let's get situated, ready to head to Victory Circle, where I believe Brad has caught up with our race winner. Mr. Steve McClendon might need a little bit of burnout practice, but he doesn't need drafting practice with that move at the end.
Yeah, Steve, first off, what a way to win a race. You timed that so perfectly. I'm beyond impressed. Talk me through that final lap and specifically turn 4 to the finish.
Yeah, we were really, this win is like, credit goes to Sean, to Keaton, Michael early in the race. Like, we had a plan, we were going to stick to it, we stuck to it, and we were just kind of waiting on the guys behind us to make a move. And when they never made a move, it was like, well, I guess I'll try to go make it myself. And so pulled out, tried to get a little side draft, and I think it was just enough to get by. And we were kind of questioning there when we crossed the line, because it showed Benson first and then kind of went back and forth. I haven't seen iRacing do that before, so it was kind of cool.
I mean, it was awesome to watch up here in the booth. And I guess I'm going to ask the follow-up question. What happened to the burnouts?
Yeah, they got this thing set up low, so at high side's real easy.
You got to get that CO2 in the shocks there, buddy.
That's right. Yeah, the setup was great. You could push literally the whole lap. So I think when we hit a lap and a half to go, I just locked on to Benson and was not going to come off. Like I said, I kind of expected the guys third, fourth, fifth, somewhere back in there to make a run. And so I'd already kind of committed to Benson, and then when they didn't make the run, it was like, all right, let's see what we can do with it here.
Oh man, we got 2 rounds to go left here in the playoff. How are we feeling about Phoenix next week?
It's not one of my favorite tracks, so I'd put in a little work this week. But I mean, you know, getting a win, getting good points tonight. I hated didn't really get any stage points tonight. That was kind of high on my checklist, is to get some stage points. Wasn't able to do that, so got some ground to make up there. But otherwise, man, just try to run up front next week, get stage points, get regular points, and I think this kind of sets us up for a good run here.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations on the win there, Steve. Setup obviously great. Maybe not for burnouts, but hey, nevertheless, you get the win, and we'll see you next week at Phoenix, man.
Yeah, sounds good. Just want to give a real quick shout out to all my family and friends watching. We lost my grandmother this past week, and just want to dedicate this to her. I know she doesn't normally get to watch, and I know she was watching this one, so we just real proud of it, real happy.
Congratulations, man.
Yep, thanks, buddy.
Corey, you got second place?
I do. Mr. Jason Benson, who it was going to be a good win for you, led a bunch of laps and a good little boost to conclude your season. And to quote Larry Mack, he timed it perfectly in 7/1000ths of a second, too perfectly. Puts you back in second. How do you swallow that pill? And just how you feeling overall after that race?
It was a blast. I feel great about it. I'm just happy that we had such a clean race and a good finish like that. Steve did a fantastic job pushing me and getting me up there, and I just enjoyed the ride.
Absolutely. Well, it's a good way to look at it, of course. And just as the leader, you know, at a plate race at the very end, and knowing that everyone is trying to make a charge and you just have to figure out where is it coming from, when is it going to happen. What were you kind of planning for in your head as you took the 2 to go, eventually taking the white and the checkers?
Well, I figured you're going to have somebody break off at some point trying to start a second lane, and it's going to just make my lane slow down a ton. So it's just kind of, you know, whoever decides to stay with you and push and win. So I just figured keep it on the bottom and see where it took me.
Yep, and almost took you to victory lane, but 2 more races left here, Season 8. We head to 2 quite difficult tracks, Phoenix and Darlington. I'd say if you had to put a gander on it, which of those 2 would be more optimistic for you to have a solid run?
Oddly enough, I feel pretty decent at Darlington from time to time, but a lot of that's going to depend on, you know, the setup and just how the track feels and the other drivers. But it just being a track that you really have to respect. For some reason, I feel like I do a little bit better on those.
All right, man. Well, absolutely. Congrats on the solid second, almost a win here today, and see what you can do in the next 2 weeks to round out the season.
Yeah, thank you guys for the broadcast.
Absolutely, not a problem. And then just quickly rounding things out here because our timer is clicking on over there. We got Mr. Sean Bradley with Brad.
Don, man, great run here tonight. Started in 10th, finished 3rd. Talk me through your race, man.
Yeah, no, it was just, just trying to find places to go at the beginning. It was just sort of gridlock, and the top lane wasn't working, and then the bottom lane wasn't working. It was just really hard to figure out a way until finally, I think it was Benson McClendon and I on the top lane that broke through. And then everything just kind of fell into place from there.
Man, it was a lot of fun to watch and kind of see how things fell into place, how they didn't fall into place. Was there ever a point during the race that you got kind of nervous, things got out of hand? Or was it just sort of smooth sailing, just patiently waiting for that last lap?
It's funny. It was earlier parts of the race where I was getting nervous. There was too many, shaky moves and, swerving and stuff like that was going on. And then people kind of settled in towards the end of all things. It was kind of backwards from what you would expect.
Yeah, for sure. It was kind of interesting to watch and see how that played out. And I got to ask, do you think it's the same way at Phoenix, or do you think things are going to get crazy at Phoenix?
I have no idea what to expect at Phoenix, to be honest. I mean, the name of the game with this car so far has been dirty air, and Phoenix, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Unfortunately, I'm terrible there, so I'm not expecting a good run, but we'll see what happens next Sunday.
Well, it's going to be awesome to watch, man. Congratulations on the P3, and hopefully we can talk to you again next week.
Sounds good. Cheers.
All right, well, that'll wrap up our post-race show here, and obviously the broadcast as a whole. So, Brad, I'd say for about 80 of the 85 laps, we're kind of sitting here and just trying to fill out some storylines, and what do you know? They pull out a photo finish for us to conclude this thing down.
It doesn't surprise me for some reason with everything I know about this league and everything I've seen them do. Such a great run, and I have a feeling that Phoenix next week is going to be more of the same.
All right, absolutely. We had some fun with this one here today. So make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe if you haven't already done so on our mission to 1,800 subscribers. We'll be back live on Tuesday, the final week of racing for the area iRacing series in 2025 on Tuesday and Thursday. We'll be back on Wednesday with the Elbows Out Racing League, and then concluding season 8 here of Triple Bypass again next week here on Sunday. That'll be Corey and Brad signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.
See you.